All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the lunchtime live stream. Yeah. Okay, so number one, supergun is not a new term for toilet or whatever it was, or that I'm going to the bathroom. That has nothing to do with anything, so that's cool. And yes, I do have the most erratic lunchtime live stream schedule, and that is because it's not like I can really schedule this around work. So I just kind of do them when I can do them, but I appreciate you guys joining. So today, we're gonna dive right into it. We're gonna do something pretty cool. So today, we'll check this out. So let me tell you what I got on the table real quick. So what I have on the table in front of me is a supergun. So if those of you that are newer to arcade hardware, what a supergun allows you to do is it allows you to hook up an arcade cabinet, or sorry, not an arcade cabinet, but it allows you to hook up an arcade PCB without a cabinet to a TV, to a streaming card, whatever it is. And the reason why that's cool is because you might want to play around with arcade PCBs and stuff like that, but you don't have a full cabinet, or you want to test a PCB before you put it into a cabinet. So that's the whole point. Now, what you're looking at right now is actually running Street Fighter, but what we're going to do is we're going to turn this Street Fighter PCB into a Final Fight PCB. Now, this is knowledge that I kind of obtained by sort of guessing and reading through various different articles online. This might be common knowledge, but it wasn't common knowledge to me, and I thought people on my channel, people that watch the channel may not know this either, so it was just kind of cool. So first of all, again, thank you all for watching and joining, and I'll show you what I mean right now. So we're going to power down the supergun. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart this PCB. So this PCB is comprised of three pieces. There's three pieces to this. There's the A board, which is the bottom board, which is really like the processing unit. Then there's the B board, which has the game ROMs. And then there's the C board. I have absolutely no idea what the C board actually does. So it's got some chips on it and stuff, but it does have also the kick harnesses. There's something that the C board does, but I'm not clear as to that. So if someone knows, they can actually join in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart this working Street Fighter 2 board, but I'm only going to take the B and C boards off of it. So bear with me 1 second while I do that. Oh. Okay, so now you can see I removed only the B and C boards from the Street Fighter 2 PCB. I'm also going to fix this table cam because it always does this little thing, and it always bugs the crap out of me, and I don't want it to bug the crap out of you. So I'm going to turn the autofocus off so it doesn't freak out all the time. All right, so what we got right now is basically this is the A board of a CPS-1 configuration. So Street Fighter 2 is a CPS-1 board by Capcom. I've taken the B and C boards off. Now, the thing I didn't know, which I kind of just guessed based on information that I read, is that this bottom board is actually the same on these CPS-1 boards. So if you have a B and C board of other games, you can actually put it onto this and it will work. Or at least that's what's maybe I thought would work. So I'm going to try that today on this live stream. So I haven't actually tried it yet. I'm just assuming that it works. So from everything I've read, it should work. So let me go grab the Final Fight board real quick. Where did I put it is the question. I had it right here a second ago, and now I can't find it. Oh, crap. All right, I got it. Okay, so the reason why I don't actually own a complete Final Fight board is because they're super expensive, but someone online was selling the B and C board. So I'm like, well, they must be interchangeable if someone was actually selling it that way. And everything I read, it made it seem like it was. So we're going to try it. We're going to put it on. And so this, if you haven't joined before, I was running this as a Street Fighter 2 board, and here's the actual Street Fighter 2 boards. We're going to put on a Final Fight board, and hopefully this will work. So I'm going to do that real quick. So you guys just hang on, and we're going to do that. Now I have the risk factor here is that if this guy sold me a bad B and C board, then we're screwed. And then the live stream is over and I look like a moron. So or we just realize that test didn't work. So just hold on. I'm going to put it on really quick. All right. So these things have like what looks like IDE connectors. That's what they look like. They're not IDE connectors. That's what they look like. So I'm just going to press them down into place. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know why. 1 second. I think that's pressed down. Let me just make sure. So I don't know why, but Final Fight is a super expensive PCB. I have no idea why. I don't know. I have no idea why it's so expensive. Maybe, I don't know. I never looked up like how many Final Fights were made or anything like that. But technically this should work. So for those of you just joining, just so you know what we're doing, is we took 2 boards off of a Street Fighter 2. Oh man, I'm gassy again. Oh, dude. All right, I took 2 boards, the B and C board off of Street Fighter 2 CPS1 Capcom board. I replaced it with a B and C board from a Final Fight. We have it running through a supergun, which is a way that you can test arcade PCBs without having a whole cabinet. And then we're running it through a RetroTink 2X Pro. So it's leaving the supergun component cables, and then it's running into the RetroTink, which is actually 2X doubling the signal. So it should clean it up, make it look pretty good. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the RetroTink 2X Pro. It's really nice. It's super simple. I used to use an OSSC for everything, but the OSSC is has ridiculous amounts of options, and honestly, it was a little overwhelming. Although the OSSC isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just it had so many options. All right, so we're gonna fire this thing up and see what happens. So I'm gonna switch the screens. I'm putting all the faith in that this is actually gonna work. So let's push the power button on the supergun. Now, this supergun's pretty unique, and I'll explain that in a minute if this actually works. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the same warning screen, so that doesn't really tell us anything until the game turns on, but I'm pretty sure we're good. All right, come on. Oh, yeah. Problem is, do we have game audio? That's the thing, is do we have game audio? Let's see. Oh, it looks like we do. Sweet! All right, well, that's pretty cool. So, all right. Why Final Fight is like this? Oh, wait, it's glitchy. Oh, it's really glitchy. All right, I don't know if that has to do with anything I did. Maybe I'll just power. I'm going to power it back down really quick and just make sure I have everything in place correctly. Okay, we're going to power that down really quick. Yeah, don't get too excited, Paul, too quickly. Just make sure all these connections are good. And then we'll try it again. I think we're good though. I'm feeling pretty good. Now, shoot, hold on, guys. Let's make sure this is on. It's really hard to do this on my table because this table configuration isn't the best. Let's make sure all these connections are tight, and hopefully we're good. All right, let's try that again. I feel ultra confident this time. Now, the cool thing about this this supergun is it actually can do Neo Geo games and JAMA boards, so it's really cool. It's like a dual purpose supergun. So I got this off AliExpress. Okay, it looks the same, but let's see. All right, I think we're good. So all right, while I'm playing this game, and I'm using a Neo Geo controller, by the way. So while I'm playing this, hopefully the game audio isn't too obnoxiously loud, but while I'm playing this, I'll talk to you about why I think this supergun is so cool, because you can basically test out Neo Geo carts too. So you could use this as a consoleized MVS. So if you wanted to get into, testing various Neo Geo games or just playing them on a big TV, you could do that. Now the colors seem like they're a bit washed out, but I'm thinking that has nothing to do with the board. That might be just my settings on, let's see, let's just kill this last guy. I know it's going to annoyingly beep, but let's kill this last guy. I'm going to put the Elgato audio off. I think that's just actually the settings on the Elgato, so let's look at that really quick. You guys aren't going to see it while I'm changing it, but I think we could probably manipulate those a bit and get a better quality signal. Let's see. Because it looks like the colors are just a tiny bit washed out, and I'm not really sure why. So I just moved it to default. Now you guys can't see this, but I'm turning up the color saturation. Okay, so there we go. Our colors are way better now. I probably take a little tweaking on my part, but I'm messing with the color saturation right now, and I'm gonna mess with the contrast a bit. Yeah, that looks really nice actually. So it might not be perfect. There might be a little bit of noise, but I think that looks a lot better than it did when we first powered it on. Now keep in mind it is going through a line doubler, so this looks pretty damn good for for a PCB hooked up to hooked up through a capture card. All right, let me look at the chat real quick and see what you guys have going on. Now, I have to keep this as a short stream because that's what these this is the perfect topic for a lunchtime live stream, because these are meant to be like quick little fun projects that we work on, things that wouldn't really be worthy of an entire video. So let me know what you guys think of Final Fight, by the way. I love this game. It is definitely it's not my favorite side-scrolling beat 'em up. My favorite one, as you guys know, would be would obviously be Streets of Rage, all of them, all of the Streets of Rage. But this is probably my second favorite side-scrolling beat 'em up. So let me know what you guys think. But I'm really stoked because clearly it proves that you can intermix the A boards on CPS 1s with other working B and C boards. So that's a cool thing to know. So now if I wanted to, I could throw this into my Street Fighter 2 cab if I wanted to. You know, and I know people will talk about multicades and all that stuff, but I just really I'm really digging on the original hardware right now, and so it's been fun to play with, and it looks amazing on a CRT. Now, you can do things that are interesting. I'm gonna sort of let the game sort of play for a second, but there's all settings on the RetroTink. I'll get it closer to it really quick. So there's settings on the RetroTink right here, this one right here that says filter. So you can actually add Scanlines to it. So I'll show you that in a minute. So I'll continue the game. Let's see. Oops. All right, we'll continue the game in a minute. I'll show you it with Scanlines enabled. It looks pretty good actually with Scanlines. So here we go. Let's get the game going. So, you know, nothing's going to simulate a CRT as well as a CRT itself, but I'm going to put it on. I don't know if the capture card's going to actually... Let me see. So that's the... Oh, wait, that's black and white. Hold on. Let me see. I'm looking at my TV, too, to see where the scan lines are. That... Oh, I don't know why, but it's coming through as black and white on the capture card, but it's color elsewhere. That's interesting. I'm not sure why that's happening, but basically there are different settings. So you can see, like, one is a pixel smoothing setting. So that's raw pixels. That's pixel smoothing. So it kind of gives this, like, smoothed out effect to the game. And then this other one is just regular raw. So there's a bunch of different settings. I'm not sure why I'm getting this like weird black and white. Let's see. I'm just going to unplug the RetroTink really quick because it could be my HDMI. I have an HDMI switch that's in between everything. It could be the HDMI switch. But thanks again, guys, for hanging out and joining. We're just, you know, kind of experimenting and having fun on a topic I thought was kind of interesting. All right, I'm going to switch the HDMI switch back over, and then we'll see. I'm not sure if we were just having a problem with... Yeah, I don't know why. It's coming through color on... Oh, interesting. Now everything's black and white. As we went from bad to worse. Here, I'm going to reboot the supergun, and we'll try one more time. I really wanted you guys to see the scan lines because it looks pretty cool to see the scan lines. Someone was asking, would you put the RetroTink on the... I think this is the HDMI switch now and has nothing to do with the RetroTink. But here, we'll reboot the RetroTink too. Is it possible to use a RetroTink with a Pandora's box? I don't believe so. No, it wouldn't be because the RetroTink has just... it has either SCART or it has component input. So, no. But I don't think you'd want to because it's already HD. All right. I don't know what's going on, dudes. We lost the... I'm sure it's just something I'm doing here, but let's see. I'm going to scroll through these really quick, see if we can get it back. There we go. I got color back. At least it'll show you that in a second. All right. Yeah, I don't know why, but when I enable scan lines on... Yeah, I don't know why. The capture card it's probably the Elgato. The Elgato loves to do funky things. So for some reason... the Elgato isn't showing the scan lines. What I could do, I actually been thinking about this. I'll show you this really quick. I've got a lot of problems with the Elgato sometimes where like it does funky things with different inputs. So I was thinking about switching over to this capture card. It's the Ripsaw HD. I don't know if any of you guys have used this to capture game footage or anything like that, but I noticed that from people talking online, this one actually... It's just less funky than the Elgato. The Elgato just has problems sometimes, and I can't figure out why. It just decides not to accept certain functions of what it's capturing. Now, this may or may not solve the problem, but I'm going to give it a shot. I got it like super cheap on a discount, so I'm going to try it. But it is weird that it doesn't work for us there. So anyways, I'll switch back over to the game. We'll play it for a couple more minutes. And then we'll wrap this thing up. But I haven't really paid much attention to the chat, so if you guys want to talk about anything, throw it in the chat, and we can talk about it. But I was curious, who owns the Final Fight? Who owns the Final Fight arcade one-up? Because it's a pretty cool. It's actually one of my favorite arcade one-up cabinets, believe it or not. If there was one that I would, you know, kind of, if I could actually like keep just one, believe it or not, it's one of my favorite ones. Now, the one thing people may not know is it still has the Wave 1 monitor in it, but they put different electronics inside it. So you'll notice the brightness and contrast are improved on the Final Fight cabinet over the other Wave 1 cabinets. It is the same monitor. It's a revision of that monitor, though, which is kind of interesting. So it does look a lot nicer. At least to me it does. I don't know what you guys think, but hey, so really cool. So Paul Prue, who's in the chat, he's actually a buddy of mine that I grew up with, and he actually worked in the arcade in our town, which I loved going to, called the Dream Machine. So actually, Mike in the chat is also from Rhode Island, and Paul is from Rhode Island, which is really weird. I don't know if they know each other, but Paul used to work at the town arcade that I grew up in, which is really cool. And Paul and I used to be like super geeks as kids. I mean, we used to play. Our big thing was computers. We used to love playing games like Wing Commander on like a standard PC, like a 386, 486. And his dad, it was really funny because we loved playing Wing Commander on PC, and his dad had a 486 DX266 with a turbo mode, and it would like kill. It would totally destroy the game and look awesome, and we were always so jealous. Like, he always had better PCs than us. So I don't even know where your dad kept his PCs. That's what was funny. But it was really a bummer. Like, and I think he had a better like sound card and everything, so it was a super bummer. So as you can see, the depths of my gaming have gone pretty deep, because I started with probably like Commodore 64, even IBM PCs, and then I kind of graduated to other things later. But yeah, Paul and I used to geek out all the time on computer stuff, going on BBSs and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my I got this episode where I talk about Dreamcast, and I talk about being at the dinner table with my parents. And I'm at the dinner table with my parents and my sister, and we're like eating on like a Sunday or something. And my sister and I shared the same phone line, and she used to be always pissed because I'd be dialing up to BBSs and stuff. And I was on I was registering or applying to be on one of the adult sections of this BBS. And so I was like, well, I was hoping that when the guy called to verify my age and everything, I was going to be there to get that phone call. Now, I never received that phone call, or at least I didn't think I did. And my sister at the dinner table on like a Sunday night is like, "Hey Ralph, this guy called from a BBS and from a BBS," and she didn't know what a BBS was. So I can't remember exactly how it went down, but it was something like this, where she goes, "Yeah, he was wondering if you were 18." And my mom's like, "Why would he be wondering that?" And my sister's like, "I don't know. He was asking if he should be allowed access to the adult section of the BBS." So this all went down at the dinner table, and I was like, "Oh." I even remember what we were eating, because I hated when my mom made shepherd's pie. It was like my least favorite thing, and it all happened during the shepherd's pie was in front of me. I was, ready to just eat my shepherd's pie and just shut my mouth. And of course, my sister starts this conversation. So I wanted to kill my sister after this, and I hate shepherd's pie so damn much. And to this day, I hate it. I don't know why. I just feel like I want my mashed potatoes on the side of my meat. I don't want it mixed together. She made it all the time, dude. So, I don't know, maybe it was an East Coast thing. I don't know. Did anybody else's mom make shepherd's pie for food? It sucks. I'll never make it for my kids. I think it's an old school dish anyways. But anyway, so guys, the test worked. The experiment worked, which is really awesome. And so I'll bring it back to the main table, and I'll go through it really quick again, what we did. So basically what we did was we took this. We took the top boards off of a Street Fighter 2 CPS-1 board. So this is the B and C board, and we actually replaced it with a working, we thought was working Final Fight board. So the whole thing is, I wanted to prove that the CPS-1A board was interchangeable with other CPS-1 boards, and it looks like it really is, which is really cool, because it just makes it more flexible for things you want to do. Now, I know not everyone's not into the arcade hardware original stuff, but you guys have been enjoying the content, and that's been fun to sort of explore and do this with you guys. Just to give you a little history, I about like 15, probably 15 or 16 years ago, I got into the hobby via MAME. And then after that, I was like, oh, I want to buy an arcade cabinet. So I bought a full-size Galaga. It was in really rough condition, but it worked. And I was excited about that. And then I bought a cocktail cabinet, put a Hyperspin PC in it. I actually built my Hyperspin myself. I spent like tons of time building that and understanding Hyperspin. So that's like where the hobby started. And I never shared the hobby with anybody really, except for if someone would come over, they'd be like, oh, that's a cool cocktail cabinet. And we'd play Turtles or whatever game someone would want to play. And then, not until, I got to give some serious props to Arcade 1UP, because not until Arcade 1UP did I really decide, hey, it'd be cool to share some of my passion for this stuff with others. And obviously the channel has really taken off because of that. But I was really worried about going down this route with arcade hardware because I wasn't sure if everyone else would be interested. But I think to me, it's a piece of the past. It's kind of showing you what these games ran on, which is pretty neat. And it's kind of like, it kind of trips me out to think that someone can buy this Raspberry Pi thing that's like this big, go to Arcade Punks, download an image, and like freaking, you know what I mean? Like, and freaking be running like 10,000 games when like this ran one game. So it's just kind of crazy to think that that's how far we've come. But I do have this like real deep nostalgia for the original hardware. But yeah, this is a 2X doubler. Someone's mentioned that in the channel. This is a 2X doubler. The OSSC can go up to 5X, I think. It's either 4 or 5X. So OSSC can make things look amazing. It takes these old games and makes them look really damn good on like a modern day LCD. But this is just more convenient. And this comes in two forms. You can buy this with component input, and you can buy it with an RGB SCART input. So if you're looking for something that's simple, it doesn't have all the options you can tweak, this is actually the way to go, I think, the RetroTink. But I love the OSSC too. The OSSC too is also really expensive. I haven't checked in a while, but I think it was like $180 or $150. So the OSSC will overwhelm you with options. And if you know a lot about that, man, you'll have a field day with the OSSC. So that was it, guys. That was it for now. Oh, man, you can see my fat rolls. Dude, I gotta... This shirt used to fit me good. Now it's like a schmedium. It's not good, man. I gotta... This whole thing... This whole like COVID-19 and stay at home orders and everything, it's not doing me good as far as the weight goes. I was already struggling with my weight to begin with, and now it's just a nightmare. So I'm trying, guys, but I just can't help it. I got a sweet tooth, so I don't know about that, Paul, man. I think Paul and Zohar are smoking crack, but yeah, but thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I wasn't looking for one, but I appreciate it. So yeah, so this is what we were dealing with today. I really appreciate... Why did I go to a product review? That's weird. I have these different overlays on my machine. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, this is what we did today. It was pretty cool. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Definitely hit the like button if this was content that you liked and appreciated. And if you missed it, go back and watch it in replay. We'll be doing a lot more of these things. I just didn't think I wanted to do a full video on it. But yeah, so that was kind of it. I'm going to go back to, let's see, we'll go back here really quick. Oop, sometimes I'm all over the place, man. Let's go back here. All right, so that's it, guys. That is it. We're done for today, at least. I appreciate you guys joining. I really do. It means a lot. If you liked the video, please consider, giving us a thumbs up. It really does help. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We do lots of stuff like this. We do 3/4 scale arcades. We do everything arcade related. And, I know everyone is trying to remain positive through all this. I have no doubt that we were going to get through this. It's going to be no problem. But for right now, it's a little bit of a struggle. And hopefully this content was a little bit of a break in your day. And honestly, I wish I could sit here and do this and not have to go back to work, but I got to go back to work. So that's just how it goes. So anyways, thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for my buddy Paul who joining, man. It's been so long. And it's really cool when you get to join these. Zohar, you're a staple on the channel. It's always appreciate you in here. Dragon Gamer. I wish I knew what you look like in real life. You wear a dragon head, so I have no idea. You might actually not even be a real person. And then Mike from Rhode Island. I mean, he's from Rhode Island, so he just deserves props as it is. But Mike, I can't remember. I think it's Earglue Media. Mike's got a YouTube channel, Earglue Media, I think is what it is. Go check that out. He's a really good dude. We talk often. Yeah, and thank you everyone else. I can't thank everyone, but there's a lot of people in here, and you guys, the Rexer Show, go check out the Rexer Show. Really great channel, very good guy, and he's geeky about arcade hardware too. So him and I constantly talking and chatting over text about that. And that's it. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Take care, and thanks for joining. Stay safe. Wash your hands.